Eagles, Rams, Sunday afternoon football in Los Angeles. It's Friday. We got our final previews and predictions and thoughts and updates on this big week 5 matchup. I watch what words I use. Don't want to upset anybody. We got Sixers camp updates, Joel Embiid talk. Phillies play the Braves in the NLDS. That starts on Saturday. We have a jam-packed 90 minutes of trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Let's get at it.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network, where your opinions actually matter. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the follow button, the subscribe button. Whatever button you can hit, it's free to do it. It doesn't cost a cent. It helps build this great morning show, helps to continue the growth of this show every morning. So hit that like button, share, subscribe. Free to do it. Like I said, I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can follow me on all social media platforms at the Beard of Knowledge there, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know, just type it in. You'll find me. We got lots to talk about today. We got, obviously, it's the last day, last show before Eagles Rams on Sunday. We'll go through the entire NFL slate as we do every single Friday. Keys to victory, thoughts on this Eagles Rams game, and thoughts on where this Eagles team going into this game. So we'll dive into that a lot today. Sixers talk. Joel Embiid is going to be part of Team USA in the Olympics. Good or bad? I don't know. We'll find out. But James Harden is at practice and at training camp the last 2 days, not causing drama. Maybe some rumors floating around. We'll touch on that. And, of course, as Kyle says, I'm just dancing on my own. Phillies NLDS starts 6 o'clock on Saturday. No starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies has officially been announced, according to ESPN.com. We're going to talk a little bit about that, who should pitch, our thoughts on that series as it gets underway on Saturday. So it's a jam-packed show. So much to get into. So I greatly appreciate everybody hitting those like buttons, and let's just get started. We're just going to dive right into some Eagles talk right off the bat. Sitting there thinking about how to preview this Eagles game and what this Eagles game and how it's going to play out. We're on the road in LA. Obviously, the Rams are 2-2. They're playing a little bit better than last year, not as good as, a few years before that. They still have the premier football player in the NFL in Aaron Donald. They've got Matthew Stafford. Maybe Cooper Kupp is coming back. Tutu Atwell, Puka Nakua. I don't know if I said that right. It might be the closest I've ever gotten a name correct, but, I don't know. Nick, what is up, my man? Happy Friday. Going to be a fun weekend. Phillies tomorrow. Union game. It's awesome that you're going to the Union. Isn't it? Playoffs are going on right now for the Union, right? Eagles going to be 5-0. Flyers and Sixers right around the corner. Yeah, man, it's happening in Philly sports right now. It is happening. There is, so much going on. It's almost like we need more time on this show. 90 minutes today to just cover some of the great topics going on. What's up, Adam? How we doing? Did you get some NLDS tickets yet, Adam? I wouldn't be surprised if you got some tickets. But, let's stick to Eagles talk at first to get this show. We'll move into some Phillies talk as the show goes on. We'll move into some Sixers talk, as the show goes on. But, I'm looking at this Rams Eagles game, and I'm looking at the fact that it's a 4-point line. The Rams are 2-2. The Eagles are 4-0. Obviously, both those things are things we knew. The Rams are not a great football team, but are they a bad football team? And you really got to look into the games they've played this year so far. And they're not a bad football team. Matthew Stafford has thrown for 300 yards or more 3 out of the 4 games this year. They beat the Seattle Seahawks, a very good team in Seattle, week 1. They beat the Colts. They held close against their division rival, the 49ers, who everybody has anointed the 49ers the best team in the NFC, maybe in football. and they held it close, 30-23 game in week 2. Matthew Stafford's got over 1,200 yards passing. He has the 5 interceptions, so that's a problem. They cannot run the ball, so that's a problem for them. But this Eagles secondary is still extremely banged up. Yes, we could talk about Suopeta versus Aaron Donald. That's going to be an issue. Cam Jurgens is out. Fletcher Cox is out for sure. Marlon Tupelodu is actually out as well. So that's another man on the defensive rotation line. That's a problem. But I'm not as concerned about the the Aaron Donald matchup as I am against the secondary against these wide receivers. Adam, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Much appreciated. Um, you know, I can't thank you enough for that, Adam. Um, Thank you very much. Good morning, John. How you doing? Phil's Rams shouldn't be taken. Yeah, John, I've been talking about this on Twitter all week that people are taking this game a little too lightly, and it's not the Aaron Donald situation that concerns me the most. Puka Nakua, however you say his name, he's got 39 catches through 4 weeks. 39 catches, 500 plus yards. Tutu Atwell coming on strong. And Cooper Kupp is trending to play in this game. That's 3 really tough wide receivers. The Eagles have always struggled against Sean McVay style dipsy-do type offense where they run a lot of misdirection. They run a pretty straightforward offense, but they run all these, this gadget there, this guy moves there, a lot of pre-snap motions, things that the Eagles have always struggled with. And, we've got a banged up secondary. Justin Evans and Sidney Brown are trending towards possibly playing, which will help. I'm not sure if Bradley Robbie, the new cornerback, is going to play. We'll see. But I'm concerned about the secondary against Matthew Stafford. It's going to come down to the defensive line getting pressure on Matthew Stafford, being able to knock him around, sack him, get at him, not continue to lead the league in almost sacks, and not let Matthew Stafford sit there and pick us apart with these wide receivers. And let's not forget about Tyler Higbee as well. What's up, Marshawn? How you doing? ESPN shows a graphic where our secondary is bottom half in everything. Well, it's not. Our secondary has not been good. It really hasn't been, and that's not even remotely up for discussion. It has not been a pleasant year for them. Look, not just that. I mean, Darius Slay. I mean, he's been good, but not great. James Bradbury moving inside, back outside, back inside. That's a problem. The Devontae Maddox injury was big. And outside of Reed Blankenship, our safeties are mid at best. So there are a lot of question marks in our secondary, and I would be extremely, extremely concerned when you see how Matthew Stafford has picked defenses apart. He threw over 300 yards against the 49ers. The only game he did not throw for over 300 yards was the Bengals game, and that was a hard-fought 19-16 close little road matchup in bad weather, in Cincinnati. We were first in a lot of passing defense last year. Crazy to think we have the 2 Pro Bowl cornerbacks, and we can't cover bunch formations. Look, there's a lot of reasons for it, Marshawn. You could say that it has something to do with the defensive schemes, the fact that our linemen are not actually getting home. That's the biggest problem right there, is that we're not getting home. We're getting after the quarterback. We're getting pressure. We got, 5 sacks last week against Washington, which, by the way, Washington getting smoked by the Bears last night. Man, I wonder how Washington fans are feeling this Friday morning. An 0-4 Bears team just smoking them last night. Didn't watch the game, obviously, but, wow, that sucks for them. But outside of the Washington game, we haven't gotten home. We haven't been able to tackle sack the quarterback, complete the pressure. And that's a problem. It's something that we need to work on, wrapping up that quarterback. And that'll help the secondary. Secondary is not good. Bradbury going back to the corner will help, but is he going back is the question, John, because we don't know if this new kid, Bradley Robbie, is even football ready at this point. He hasn't played. I think he was cut from wherever he was last in August, so he hasn't been around a team. What kind of shape is he in? Does he know the system? There's a lot of a lot going on that he might not even dress. He's still part of the practice squad. Now, at some point, they'll promote him, to the full roster. They do get the 2 elevations, and maybe they elevate him this week, but there's no guarantee he plays this week, which means you still might have to have Bradbury in the slot. And let's be honest, you got Tutu, you got Puka, and you got Cooper. 3 wide receivers, 2 pretty young guys, and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, man, people forget because he was hurt most of last year how damn good Cooper Kupp is. I hope no one forgot, because if Cooper Kupp dresses on Sunday, Matthew Stafford will throw for 300 yards. I mean, that's just plain and simple. It's not saying the Eagles are going to lose the game, but it is. Justin Fields and DJ Moore kill it. Dude, thank God I did not go up against anybody playing those 2 guys in fantasy football this week. Because that 200 plus yards for DJ Moore, Justin Fields, he had 4 touchdowns, insane. I did hit a small little parlay last night, getting off my losing streak a little bit there last night, Adam. D-line might not be getting home, but all that pressure has to count for something. Exactly, it does. But if you don't get home, that leaves chances for some of these cornerbacks to get picked apart. Last year, they were the 2 best cornerbacks in football, Slay and Bradbury, because we had 70 sacks. So that's 70 times that the quarterback dropped back to throw that he didn't complete the pass. You got to get home. The D-line makes the secondary better, just like the secondary can make a D-line better. It goes both ways. One of Cooper Kupp or Puka will have to play outside when they're not slot receivers. Yeah, I mean, you got those 2 guys, plus don't forget about Tutu. Tutu's got 22 catches through 4 games as well. Tyler Higbee, Nicholas Morrow has had a great couple games filling in for Nakobe Dean. Zach Cunningham has as well played really well last couple of weeks. That's a tough tight end coverage. And Matthew Stafford has found ways to get the ball to him in big games before. I mean, the Rams are 2-2. They're teetering. Are the Rams a good team or a bad team? I said the Rams were going to be better than last year. I didn't know how good. The Seattle's 3-1. 49ers are 4-0. They're already in 3rd place and a couple games out in their division. It's a big game for them. Home. This is a big moment. There's a big opportunity for a letdown here for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not predicting an Eagles loss. Let me get that out of the way right here and right now. Not saying Eagles loss. In fact, my 4 scores here are all Eagles wins. The question is, how do they win it? And do they win it? And how do they get this, this job taken care of? Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith need more reps. Cut the young boys. Well, this is huge, John. This is something I've been talking about a lot, this week. And, Fletcher Cox being down for the week for sure, already ruled out. We'll jump that up. I got some notes here. Jordan Davis, out of all defensive tackles in football, not Aaron Donald, Jordan Davis is the most double-teamed defensive tackle in football. 53% of the snaps he's on the field, he's been double-teamed. He's also the number 1 defensive tackle in run-stop win rate. Not Aaron Donald, Jordan Davis at 55% win rate against the run. So Jalen Carter needs a little bit more, but so does Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis' snap count's been trending downward, while Fletcher Cox has been trending upward. Fletcher Cox being out is going to put Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis on the field more. You're also going to see a little bit more of Milton Williams, maybe Mojo Ojomo, however you say it, Mojo Ojomo. I think that's how you say it. Maybe he's activated for the first time this year. The new rookie, the standout rookie from camp. Lots that goes there. So I'm not as worried about the Fletcher Cox thing because maybe it puts Davis and Carter on the field more. Nolan Smith might get in more because Fletcher Cox and Tupelodu are out this week. So I do see that. Let those young guys eat. Let them feast. Let them get after Matthew Stafford. Make him make mistakes. Look, for all the positive we said, Matthew Stafford's thrown 5 interceptions. He's got more interceptions than he's got touchdown passes this year. That is a big deal. So if you get after him, he will make mistakes. If or when will Desai or Nick make adjustments on the coverage packages? Well, it's a fair question, and I don't have an answer for you there, Marshawn. The one thing I do remember reading a lot about, because I didn't know who Sean Desai was, really. I heard the name before. Didn't know him. And the one thing I read when we hired him was that he is one of the best in-game adjusters on the defensive side of the football. That even last year, I think it was Seattle he was with last year, he wasn't their defensive coordinator, but he was key every single game in making halftime adjustments to the defense. Well, we haven't seen any adjustments really made yet. So I'd really like to see him make some adjustments on that, on the coverage packages. We'll see. To his credit, I mean, the fact that we're 4-0 in defense, 4-0 with our defense missing so many people in our secondary through the first 4 weeks, we got to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, I guess, because of Avante Maddox, because Reed missed 1 game, Sidney Brown, Justin Evans have missed games. You got to give them a little bit there because of that. But we'll see. We'll see when that happens. We also lost our ace defensive back coach. We did. People aren't thinking about that. People didn't think about that as much. I haven't even thought about that, Marshawn, until you brought it up. If we let Puka and Cup make us look silly, I will lose faith in Desai. Thank you, Travis, for the comment. I mean, Puka is this guy coming out of nowhere. Right? Nobody knew the name Puka before 3 weeks ago, right, Travis? But Cooper Cup, I mean, that's no different than going up against Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin. We've gone up against some pretty elite wide receivers so far this year, and you can't stop those guys. You're not going to be able to stop Cooper Cup. I don't care if it's his first game of the year. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Try to keep him out of the end zone. Try to stop the 50-yard plays. That's all you can do with Cooper Cup. So you can't stop him. And if all 3 of those wide receivers and with Tyler Higbee, they don't run the ball well at all. Their offensive line is atrocious. But Matthew Stafford's a veteran quarterback. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's had MVP caliber seasons. If you can't get pressure on him, he will pick you apart. Sean McVay has had success against our style of defense, success against the Eagles, period. It's no pushover, not at all. So lot to dive into with that there. They play off the receivers. They need to play up close coverage to knock them off the ball. We've been calling for this, Adam. It feels like since the Jim Schwartz era, even playing off the receivers. And I don't know. I would love to pick a defensive-minded coach's mind on why, because you see, Adam, it's not just the Eagles. You see more and more defenses across the NFL going with this style, and I'm not sure why. It's kind of weird that so many defenses go this way, yet we all complain about it nonstop, and I'm not sure why that is. So I'm gonna work on finding. I've had Coach Dale Carlson, Coach Gabe Martinez, both on this show before. They're both offensive-minded guys. I got to find a defensive-minded coach to ask. Maybe Gabe. I think Gabe Martinez has coached a little bit of defense. Maybe I'll send him a message after the show and find out for next week why it's such a big deal. Because it's not like it's changing. You would think it would have changed by now, but it hasn't. So it's interesting. I'll have to think about that. Maybe it has something to do with the wide receivers and their speed, and these cornerbacks don't want to get beat off the line of scrimmage if they miss their jam. I'm not sure. I thought Desai made good halftime adjustments last game, but his soft coverage is too ineffective. Yeah, he's made some coverage changes or some adjustments, throughout the games, but not on the coverage. Now look, he's making good adjustments. The only adjustment he's not making is the press coverage that we all want. But maybe there's a reason. Maybe there is a reason why that's happening. McLaurin doesn't get talked about enough. I talked about him all last week, leading up to Washington. He's a damn good wide receiver. You put him on a team with a real quarterback, not a knock on Sam Howell. Well, kind of, sort of. But just Washington as a whole, you move him out of that train wreck of an organization, he's a star in the NFL. That's all I could say there. A star in the NFL if he got out of Washington. How you feel about Bradley Robbie pickup? So I talked about it yesterday. Well, not yesterday. We didn't do a show yesterday, guys. Sorry. Had to skip. Had a pizza shop. Last second big order that I had to help with. So I talked about it on Wednesday after it happened. And the Bradley Robbie, I'm getting vibes like when we brought in Ndamukong Suh, Linville Joseph last year. A guy later in their career, hasn't had the greatest success in the last year or two of his career, but had great success early in his career. Coming to a team loaded with talent, with Super Bowl aspirations, and he's here not to be the star, but to complement. And he's going to step in and play the slot to move James Bradbury back outside. I don't know if he plays this week. We'll see. I mean, I haven't heard enough about reports about what kind of shape he's in. He's on the practice squad. Technically, he could get elevated, or they could just add him to the 53-man roster at any point. It'll be interesting to see when Bradley Robbie starts, whether it's this week or next week. But I think it's a very, very solid move, but it can't be the only move. We still need more help in the secondary. We still need another safety, whether it's a depth piece or a starter. But the Bradley Robbie pick or signing, I mean, it's win-win. There's nobody could give me a downside to that move whatsoever. I understand. I agree that I just think Reed Blankenship, Slay Evans can make number one pass defense again. Yeah, I agree. I agree that they could. It would help if the defensive line actually got home on some of these sacks. Take some of that pressure off of them. Look, these guys are really good, and I see you put Justin Evans. I'm not a huge Justin Evans fan, Travis. I think he's okay at best. He's got an injury history throughout his career, and he's already hurt again this year. I'd like to see Sidney Brown more over Justin Evans. I'd love to see Sidney Brown over Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Edmonds had an awful game last week, and if he doesn't see the field again, I'd be okay with that. I'll say that the Eagles made a mistake by only keeping Howie Roseman made a mistake only keeping 4 safeties. Maybe he should have kept Kayvon Wallace. I know he wasn't the most popular guy in Philly, but maybe Kayvon Wallace would have provided a little bit more depth in this secondary. You could have kept one less defensive tackle. You could have kept one less running back. I mean, Rashad Penny's been on this roster and he hasn't touched the football in 3 weeks. So maybe something there. We'll see. You would think you'd play press coverage with the way the D line pressures the quarterback. You would think, Peanut. But I'm going to have to get a coach's perspective on this because we all see it, we all say it, but if we see it and they don't do it, is that because they're not smart enough to coach in the NFL, or is it because they're smarter than us and that's the right way to go? Like, I really don't know the way this is working out. Why? Maybe we are all just wrong on this one. Did you see Magic Johnson rip into his new team? Who is he part of the Josh Harris Washington Commanders? I didn't even know that. Washington looked terrible last night from what I read and the highlights I saw. Would you say Desai after 4 weeks is better than Gannon? Wow, Adam, that's a tough question. That's a real tough question there, Adam. Um, I will say that it's incomplete, and I cannot answer that question. Come back to me in 2 more weeks, Adam, because I cannot answer that right now. Um, Look, Gannon's got the Cardinals playing okay, considering everybody had them tanking. Um, there's a lot of good that the Eagles defense did last year. It really was. So I can't say that it's better, maybe on par, but also incomplete. Not enough data to properly answer that. Guys, we got only 8 likes on the YouTube page. There's 18 of you watching right now. Hit that like button, hit that share button. It's free to do. It greatly helps the algorithm grow for this show today. Get more people comment and talking here. Do you think Buda Baker thing is legit or no? I think if Buda Baker was going to be the move, it would have been done by now. I don't know what the asking price is. He's on IR. He'd come off of IR in a week or two. I think it would have been done by now. I think it would have been done before, he went on IR. I think Jeremy Chin's a more realistic option on the last year of his deal. And even if it's not either of those two guys, if it's just another veteran, another guy to just add depth, it doesn't have to be the big name. And the thing is, everybody knows how he needs a safety. So the asking price is going up for these guys. So I don't know. I don't know. Is there a Bradley Robbie Davon that's a free agent right now that plays safety? Because that is something you would see. I could see them going out and just who's a veteran guy that's 31, 32, that's towards the end of their career, wants one more shot at a Super Bowl to bring some leadership there to the locker room. That's all. I mean, that might be the move. I feel like Evans and Epps have the same 75 rating. Look, Evans is all right. He's not great. He's not bad. Marcus Epps is great. Not great. He's not bad. Losing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and replacing them with Terrell Edmonds, Sidney Brown, Justin Evans, it's a drop off for sure. And the fact that you only got 4 and last week you had 2 out, it's a question. I second left. 1 second left. You play press coverage and send the house, or am I crazy? It sounds cool to us, Marshawn, but there's a reason why teams don't do it. That's the thing. There's a reason why teams don't do it. I don't know the reason, but there's a reason. Gannon, as much as we hate him, had a top 10 defense. Absolutely. It's a very tough. I mean, we love to crush Jonathan Gannon, and I get it. I do it too. But you're spot on here. Keith, what's up, my man? How you doing this morning? They know something. Exactly. I mean, we're complaining here, Keith, but those numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? It's like, I can give you offense. We've spent all this time talking defense. We could talk offense for a little bit. We've been crushing this offense, and crushing Jalen Hurts for not looking as good as last year. But the Eagles are the second best run team, fifth best total yards, fifth best team in points scored, sixth best success rate on offense. Like we're acting like this Eagles team is 1-3. We're 4-0. I mean, there's only two undefeated teams in the NFL right now, us and the Niners. You know how hard it is to go 4-0 in today's NFL with the parity that's in this NFL that any team can win at any moment? Keith, you're spot on. We act like this team's terrible. They're not. Not even close. Mister, I'm not sure Sean Desai will be here next year. His defense is disorganized. I mean, we'll worry about next year, Mister. I try to stay focused on this year right now, and he is here right now. I see the disorganization that you see, but also you got a lot of moving parts, a lot of injuries, and a lot of problems. So you go both ways. I got to say, Daryl Morey holding his ground on the Harden trade is amazing. Clippers offered a first-round pick and a pick swap, and he turned it down. Look, Mister, the whole Joel Embiid and Sixers thing. It's on the agenda. You want to talk about it. Um, all I'm going to say, Daryl Morey held up every Ben Simmons trade just because only wanted James Harden. Now he's holding up a James Harden trade because he's only waiting for Terrence Mann. And I know we talked about this at the beginning of the offseason when all this drama started. Since when was Terrence Mann become this superstar? Why is every deal that's been put out there being held up because Daryl Morey has to have Terrence Mann? Come on. I don't get that part of it, but it looks like stuff's happening. I wouldn't be surprised if when we come on the air here Monday morning that James Harden is no longer Philadelphia 76er. It really seems to be trending that way. He showed up to camp in okay shape. He's doing the good thing to show that he's a teammate and whatnot. He still wants out, but he's just kind of, doing his best. I doubt he plays in a game. He'll have a hamstring issue or something like that that has to keep him out of games. But he's holding out. He's doing the right thing, Daryl Morey, but maybe pushing it a little too much. I hope it doesn't backfire. All right, good morning. I saw your missed comment. Sorry. I had to take yesterday off. Had a last second $400 pizza order come in that the wife could not do by herself. And we're running one car family. My Jeep's in the shop for, I don't know, like 2 weeks now. So had to go in, had to help out there. One thing that pissed me off is soft coverage when we need to stop opponent progression just like Gannon does. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just Gannon. I mean, Jim Schwartz ran that sticks defense nonstop. And we crushed it back then too. But Jim Schwartz's defense won us a Super Bowl, our only Super Bowl. So maybe those defensive coordinators just know a little bit more than we do. Maybe. I'm going to get hands-on information from a defensive coach this weekend, without a shadow of a doubt. I'll put tweets out about it once I get answers on Twitter, and then we'll discuss it next week on this show for sure. God forbid we're 3-1. This fan base would have abandoned ship. Absolutely. And look, I wouldn't put it past that. If we're coming on this show on Monday morning and we're talking an Eagles loss, don't be shocked. I mean, I think we win. I think it's going to be a close game, but don't be shocked. I mean, there's a possibility. Imagine if we get 2 first-round picks and a pick swap for man. I mean, dude, Daryl Morey. I mean, I don't even know why the Clippers want him so bad. I wonder if PG and Kawhi are pushing for this because I don't get it. I mean, I wouldn't want him on my team after the drama. 3 straight organizations he's done. Clippers are reporting to require more picks. Yes, I saw that. I don't get it though. I don't get it. Like why? Like I'm happy with that, but I don't get it. Yesterday morning was a quiet and sad morning because I wasn't around. Guys, look, I got to shout out everybody, for missing me yesterday. I got messages in old shows from Eric and messages from old shows from Mad Chatter. I got a DM from Peanut. Everybody was worried because they didn't see me on this show. That's why you got to follow me on Twitter. I put that information out there that there was no show. I'd rather see the Eagles peak at full potential by the end of the season so other teams don't really know what they have. Hey, look, we just be peaked all year long. Look, we're going to be 5-0 after this week, Adam. And there's still we're going to win something close game against this Rams team, be 5-0, and people are still going to be questioning this team because they haven't blown anybody out of the water. But I remind you, as I've reminded everybody all week, We barely beat Detroit week 1 last year. We barely beat the Cardinals week 5 last year. We barely beat the Colts week 9 last year. It took a last-minute field goal against, I believe it was the Cardinals, to win that game. We weren't pretty last year. But yet, at the end of the year, all that people worried about was that we were 14-3 and had the number 1 seed. So as long as we're winning, as long as we're keeping that number 1 seed at the end of the season, that's all that matters. As long as the opponents have to come through Philly. We dabble in some Phillies talk today. Spencer Strider, the Braves, said, I'd rather play in an empty stadium than play in Philadelphia because the fans are so loud and so passionate in Philadelphia, especially come playoff time. And that's for the Phillies. The Eagles are 10 times better, louder, and more raucous. I mean, let's be honest. That's all you need. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get there in the end. What do you like best on your pizza? This comment's come up many of times, many of shows. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, Travis. But I think, first off, pepperoni is the most overrated topping. Anchovies and olives suck. My go-to toppings are some combination of Italian sausage, bacon, red onions, and banana peppers. Hell, you can throw all 4 of them on a pizza, and that's my go-to. But those 4 toppings, any combination, sausage, bacon, onions, and banana peppers. I know it's for lunch today now. Thanks. Come see me. Anybody, I know you can't, Travis, but anybody in the area, Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square, come say hello, have a slice. We'll be watching the Phillies game at the shop, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Yesterday was horrible. I kept refreshing my feed. I'm sorry, Marshawn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody. But it meant when somebody like Peanut sends me a DM, are you okay, man? You didn't do your show this morning. Worried that something happened to me. I appreciate that. It means a lot. We had all the style points in the Super Bowl, yet we walked away with the Marshawn. It's like the comment of the week right here. Everybody's worried about style points. Style points mean jack crap. All I care about is wins and hoisting a trophy at the end of the year. That's all that matters. Adam loves my taco pizza. It's a great pizza. A little messy of a pizza, but it's a great pizza. Maury is a moron. He can't evaluate trades, doesn't know when he has leverage or not. Eric, look, this whole Sixers, James Harden, Daryl Morey fight, controversy, whatever it may be, I think it ends soon, which is great. I need it to end soon. But if he finds a way to get his first-round picks of any kind in this deal, and if he holds, I still don't understand why Terrence Mann's the end-all, be-all. But, like, if he gets anything of substance, gets it over with before the season starts, man, I'll give Daryl Morey some credit for holding firm. Now, the situation we're in is partially Daryl Morey's fault, but I will give Daryl Morey credit if he holds firm and gets this done before the season starts. Without a doubt, we'll give him some credit. Yeah, I was checking for your show too. I thought you went on it. Nah, hey, most of the time I do my shows on vacation. Just the Mexico one, I only did 2. We go away for New Year's every year. I'll do every show when I'm in Florida for New Year's. I don't skip shows. Only thing I skip shows for is travel days and massive pizza orders that I got to take care of. And sometimes the wife will even take care of the orders for me, and get up extra early. But it is what it is. But I apologize. But again, if you follow me on Twitter, that's the best way. At Beard of Knowledge on Twitter, and you'll never miss it because I do post it on there when a show is going to get skipped at the last second. Sorry. Next time, you know what I'll do? I'll put a picture, a graphic up under community on YouTube so you guys know skipping the show. Sorry, I apologize. What do we got here, Keith? The Eagles' defensive effort was bad last week, but their read of the probabilities was that Sam Howell was going to have the uneven performance he had last night. Yeah, Sam Howell put up 300 yards last night. But it goes to show that I said that the Reds, I called them, that's the first time I've done that in a few years. The Commanders just aren't as good of a football team as people thought. But division rivals are division rivals. There's a reason why the 49ers and the Rams in week 2 had a really close game. So, look, this Eagles game is going to come down to stopping Matthew Stafford from getting the ball to Puka and Kupp. This game is going to come down to whether Cam Jurgens is out, whether Sua Apeta and whatever Jeff Stoutland does can stop Aaron Donald. That's it. That is the game right there. There's two keys to victory. It's stopping Aaron Donald and stopping Stafford from getting the ball out quickly to his wide receivers and his weapons. That's it. We do those two things, we win this game handily, without a doubt. If you have 3 second-rounders and any player he signed or acquired in the past, you can fleece him. Maury negotiates like the dwarf from Bad Santa. It's been a while since I've seen Bad Santa. I'll have to put that on this year's Christmas agenda. Um, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's done some good moves. Get the trade to get the Anthony Melton was solid. Wasn't Daryl Morey directly responsible for getting rid of Al Horford? So he's done some good things here. I'm not going to say that Daryl Morey has been a complete and total dumpster fire, but the James Harden situation, first acquiring him and now dealing with it now, has been a big black eye. And as every day, every year, more rumors of offers that he turned down. Like, I mean, who did he turn down? He turned down, Tyler Halbert from the Kings. I mean, it's crazy. Hey, Keith, much appreciated, man. I greatly appreciate that. Stella, though, do I have to buy a Stella? Can it be something else? I'll buy a Stella, and I'll have a picture of it for next week. But I greatly appreciate that. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Pin this comment. We will end up trading James for Westbrook, a former Rocket. No, Eric, get that off my screen, please. You might go into timeout mode for that. No way. Although Russell Westbrook was a guy that many moons ago I was a huge fan of. I mean, he plays with a lot of heart. He's not the best shooter in the world, but he's got that fiery personality that you just love. When he's not playing your team, you just love that personality. But now he's past it now. Those years when he was carrying that OKC team to the playoffs, man, on his own, after everybody left him. I mean, there were some entertaining years of basketball right there. But Daryl Morey just has made far too many mistakes in this James Harden situation that it'll outweigh some of the good that he has done. So, the one thing I will say about this Sixers team, has there been a Sixer yet on the roster that hasn't made a subtle dig at Doc Rivers yet? Every single one of them have made comments about Nick Nurse's new offensive style and how much they love it. Joel Embiid saying yesterday, it's the way it should have been. This is great. Tobias Harris saying comments. Tyrese Maxey's making comments. Daniel House Jr. making comments. Oh my God. The comments that are being made. When Doc Rivers, who's now working for ESPN, has to call his first Eagles or Sixers game, I guarantee some subtle digs back because, man, the players are letting him have it. It's pretty crazy. At least he's buy our young Sixers new iPhones. Who? Somebody bought them new iPhones? I don't even know. I will say, I do love the other thing that's going on at camp for the Sixers this week is that I don't know if Joel Embiid organized it or Nick Nurse organized it, that the squad went out to dinner with Coach Primetime, Deion Sanders. That was a big deal to me to go spend some time with somebody with that winning personality like him. You know, big time, big time. And I bet you they got a lot of confidence and a lot of motivation from hearing Primetime speak to them and motivation. What do I think of Joel Embiid on Team USA? That was on my agenda to talk about, Adam, so we can cover that right now. We'll get back to Eagles later in the show here. We'll spend some time talking Sixers. We'll dabble in some Phillies talk as well whenever people want to bring that up. NLDS starts Saturday, 6 o'clock. Come to the pizza shop. I'll have it on at 6 o'clock at the shop. We can watch the game together there if you guys want. Pizza, everything. But Joel Embiid on Team USA. So there's two ways of looking at it. One, I love it. Team USA is stacking up for their roster for the Olympics. A gold medal for Joel Embiid is great. I don't like risking him getting hurt in an international competition. But guess what? Those 2024 Olympics are going to be going on during free agency. And guess what? The Sixers probably, depending on how this Harden situation plays out, are going to have 2 free max slots opening up. Coincidence? That Joel Embiid is going to be playing international basketball with a bunch of superstars across the NBA? Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It would have been cool if he played for Cameroon or France. The other two countries that he's got, you know, citizenship with. But he said it himself. His son's American. He's lived here long enough. He feels like he is truly an American, playing for his country. I love it. It's going to be so entertaining. But coincidence that he's playing when we're going to have two max slots and tampering might not go on. I don't know. Thoughts? That's the first thought I thought of when I saw Joel Embiid announce he was playing for Team USA. That he's trying to make some kind of turning it into a recruiting trip along with winning, a gold medal for Team USA. Westbrook brought all his Clippers teammates iPhones. I did not even know that. Um, I did not even know that. PJ Tucker is the only player I don't think threw Doc under the bus yet. Well, he might be on his way out of town anyway. There have been plenty of rumors linking PJ Tucker in any Harden deal. And if you trade James Harden, you might as well trade PJ Tucker too. They're tight. And on the flip side, PJ Tucker's game is centered around somebody like James Harden kicking out to him. So, I would love that. Don't be surprised if the Sixers re-sign Tobias. Get your mind right. Dude, I'm a Tobias Harris guy, Keith. I am. And now that everybody blasts that contract. Honestly, what is it, like $38 million or whatever? That's not even close to what max contracts are right now. So it's kind of a fair offer, like a fair deal that he's getting paid now based off of what other guys make around the NBA. Tobias Harris, to me, is going to have a big year this year if he's here in Philadelphia, especially if James Harden's not playing. He is going to be the number 2 or 3 scoring option. He's already said through early moments through camp that he's going to get to post up more. He's going to get to do a lot more pick and rolls, get going downhill. Tobias Harris in the right role can average 20 points a game. Plus, Tobias Harris, Keith, is a major, major locker room leader. You don't see it on the court as much, but Tobias Harris is kind of like Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies or the Lane Johnson of the Eagles or the Brandon Graham of the Eagles. He's a guy that's a silent leader, but in the locker room, every single person there respects him. Every single person goes to him with advice and questions and things like that. Tobias Harris, the leader, is even better as Tobias Harris, the player. So there's no question there that I have no problem if he comes back. No problem at all. And he owes us a discount. Ready. I got you. I knew what you're saying. I like Doc Rivers, but his coaching flaws and lazy adjustments drove me crazy. I'm used to Larry Brown. Just like we're all used to Jim Johnson defenses from the late 90s, early 2000s, Eric. We get used to the old school way. We don't want to learn to adjust. Look, I have no problem with Doc Rivers. He was not a good coach the last couple of years here in Philly. But Doc Rivers needed a break. After he left the Clippers, I don't know if he was totally entirely looking for another coaching job. The Sixers went and offered a crap ton of money, and he came here. But you could see it right from the get-go. Think about it. He went from high school ball, right to college ball, right to pro ball, right to coaching. This will be Doc Rivers' first full year off in I don't know how long. And that's part of the problem with Doc Rivers the last couple of years. I think he was burned out. Guys, we're doing I greatly appreciate the super chats, but we got only 11 likes on YouTube. We got 9 likes on Facebook. We're actually almost getting beat by Facebook on YouTube, guys. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button for me. I greatly appreciate it. That'll help get more people into the conversation here today. Nick Nurse intrigues me, but he better be willing to go 10 deep in his rotation. Yeah, regular season we will. I know I heard a lot of talk and a lot of grumbling that they're not worried about the quote unquote load management of Joel Embiid. He wants guys to play, all day, every day. But he's still gonna have to watch those minutes of Joel Embiid. He's still gonna have to watch now that Joel Embiid's got the MVP, we don't have to worry about that individual awards. Joel Embiid said something along the lines of yesterday that, it's not all about just scoring, and he likes that about Nick Nurse. So maybe we see Joel Embiid used in a different way this year that makes him an even more dominant player. Just maybe doesn't put up the flashy stats that we're used to. Kyle, this is exactly right. Opinions matter. Likes are free. That's 100% true. $500 super chats not necessary ever, but we can always appreciate $5 super chats and $10 and add them with the $15 today. Uh, yeah, I showed up today. Man Chatter has boycotted the first 45 minutes of the show because I didn't do a show yesterday. Sorry. I don't make those $500 super chats, ever. And I got bills to pay. The pizza shop pays the bills. This buys me beer. Unfortunately, it's got to be a Stella today. Not that I have anything against Stella. It's just not my favorite beer, Keith. But Stella's good beer. It's a good beer. It's not my favorite though. But anyway, this whole Sixers thing, I really truly feel that it can be resolved. It can be resolved by this end of this weekend. I really do. John chiming in. What's up? Good morning, John. I'm worried about this team connecting. Now I sound like Sirianni. Just hope everyone, including Harden, comes together to get better. So I think James Harden really showed something, that he's not as dumb as we think he is. Showing up, one day late to practice, but he showed up. I don't think he'll play in any games for the Sixers, John, unless something really gets settled. But he's showing other teams around the league that he's willing to, suck it up and do what's necessary, um, to hopefully get traded. And there's a lot of stuff circulating that the Clippers and Sixers are talking deep. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if something happens in the next 45 minutes before this show ends on the Harden front. But James Harden's not pulling a Ben Simmons and risking all that money and going to sit out because, and risk all that. He's smarter than that. James Harden's still a very prideful person. He wants to play. And if he was stuck here, he'd figure it out. And the Sixers and Nick Nurse and Joel Embiid would figure it out. Look, this Sixers team with James Harden committed is still the third best team in the Eastern Conference. And once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So, all that being said, if they could figure out a way to work it out, I'd rather this team with James Harden than without it. James Harden without the drama, though. And that's the thing right there. So, I wouldn't doubt that if he had a play here, he'd find a way to make it work. The problem is it'll always be that nagging thought in the back of your head that when will the shoe drop and it'll blow up. So I'd rather just get the deal done. I could see it getting done this weekend. And then just moving on to the preseason games with whoever we get in here. Mr. Doc Rivers is the reason Embiid won 2 scoring titles in the MVP. He ran it through Embiid. Under Nick Nurse, numbers will drop. I hope they drop because I don't want him getting back. If we could cut his minutes 2 or 3 minutes a game, maybe not have him take so many hits around the basket. There's an argument to be made that Doc Rivers is the reason why Joel Embiid was so beat up come playoff time. Just saying. So we'll see. And Joel Embiid's comments said that he kind of liked the way Nick Nurse was doing things. They should drop. He has enormous scores on the team, and we don't need him putting up 30. That was when Ben was here. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since Ben Simmons has been here. So, and we're still stuck in the drama. Look, I'm okay with his numbers dropping, and I think he's okay with it. I think now Joel Embiid, he's got his individual award. He is an MVP. He can now say he's an MVP. He's a scoring champion. Now he needs the title. Now he needs the ring. What did Nick Castellanos do? They put up everyone freaked out thinking it was his middle finger. It was his ring finger that he put up. Nick Castellanos the other day, when he was on second base there. Rangers wrecked. Okay. Are you talking baseball? Did you just drop a baseball comment? What? What's going on with this world today? What is going on? We got 9 likes on Facebook, 13 on YouTube, and we got Mad Chatter talking baseball? What? I don't even know what he's talking. It could be the New York Rangers. He could be talking hockey for all I know. I'm just shocked. All right, before we get back to the Eagles, before we get back, to our predictions for this week in the NFL, I would be remiss if we're going to drop baseball things to at least bring up the Philadelphia Phillies in the NLDS against the Atlanta Braves. And this is just going to be a quick talk about this, but it's also more geared towards the Eagles and the Sixers, just how great Philadelphia fans are. Do you know it's cheaper for you as a Philadelphia Phillies fan to fly on Saturday down to Atlanta for game 1, buy a ticket off of StubHub, go to the game, then fly home the same day? You can do it round trip. There's tickets on Spirit and Frontier. You could do it for less than $300. Tickets to the Phillies game on Wednesday, I believe, is the first home game in the NLDS. Monday or Saturday? Monday. Yeah, Wednesday is the first home game. Home game ticket for game 3, over $300 in Philly. You could fly to Atlanta and get tickets cheaper than staying home for the game. And to me, I've said it a million times. Whether you're talking Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Union, the Philadelphia, what's the US? I don't even remember what the USFL team's name is. The Stars? I don't know. Whatever you're talking about. Philadelphia sports fans are the most passionate. I've always talked about moving to Florida, moving elsewhere, but man, I would so miss the passion of Philadelphia sports fans in other cities because we're the most passionate. There was a baseball game. I think it was the Tampa game. They had 19,000 fans there. You could get tickets on StubHub for $7 to a playoff game. I mean, that would never happen in Philadelphia. People are crushing saying, well, the Rays got screwed because they had a game so early in the day. Dude, Philadelphia would pack that stadium at 9 a.m. We used to put 20,000 people in a stadium for a wing eating competition. I mean, seriously, the passion of Philadelphia sports fans. There's a reason why Spencer Strider, the ace of the Braves, says he'd rather play in an empty stadium than have to come to Philly and pitch. It's insane. It really is. Phillies get rid of the ball into the stands. I like that. Yeah, that's something we do. Baseball playoffs don't start until the Phillies play the Braves. That Marlins series was just extra practice. Dude, no offense to the Marlins. The Marlins are a nice young team, but they were just straight outclassed by us in the wild card round. They just showed that they weren't ready for that moment at all. Tampa Stadium's in St. Petersburg. It is, and they're talking about building them a new stadium. I don't know why the Marlins, or not the Marlins, the Rays, the city and the organization would want a new stadium. They can't fill the one they got. What do they think they're going to do with the new one? It's ridiculous. It's just such not a baseball town. There's so many better cities in this country that deserve a baseball team than Tampa. You've been to Wing Bowl, Kyle. I mean, just think about it. We are so passionate about a fan base in sports that we would pack an arena, the Wells Fargo Center, whatever it was called back during Wing Bowl days, with 20,000 plus people at 6 a.m. Mind you, it started at like 6 a.m. Wing Bowl on a Friday, the week before the Super Bowl. Every year, 20,000 fans to watch a wing eating competition. Like, that's the passion. And that's what I think of when I think of Phillies baseball and when the Phillies are in the playoffs and playoff red October here. I think about how passionate our fan base really is. We know the Eagles fan base. They show up, they travel. The Eagles fans travel all over. The Philly sports trips, they do all over the country. They sold out. There's so many tickets and people flying to LA for the Eagles-Rams game this weekend. And they've got these packages. You get your hotel, your airfare, tailgate, your ticket, and all that kind of stuff. And they sell them out every year. Thousands of fans do it every week that there's a road game. It's because we're passionate. On a Philly specific note, the Braves series is going to be tough. The Braves are one of, if not the best team in baseball. Now, we took care of business last year against them. We could do it again. Game 1's going to be the key. Who starts game 1? Now, I ran a poll on Twitter yesterday. It's not over yet, but it's still running. About 120, 130 votes on should it be Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, or Taijuan Walker starting game 1. And I knew Ranger Suarez was going to blow it out. What is up, Mitchie Poo? I can call you Mitchie Poo because we're talking baseball. We're going to get back to football in a second. Hit that like button for me and that share button, Mitch. Greatly appreciate it. Ranger Suarez, I knew, would blow this poll out of the water. I mean, he's the third best pitcher on this team, but it's been shaky. Christopher Sanchez, not sure he's ready for the big moment. Taijuan Walker, though. You signed him to a big contract to start the season, and he's your guy going forward. So the question is, should Taijuan Walker, and I knew Ranger Suarez can come out of the pen. If somebody, so many things you could do with Ranger Suarez. Do you waste him in that? You probably do. And it'll probably come out today that Ranger Suarez. I know a lot of people have been talking about pitching Zach Wheeler on 3 days rest for game 1. I'd rather go game 2 with Ranger. You can go or with Zach Wheeler and just go that route. No need to push Zach Wheeler just yet. That's just my thoughts on it. The best Embiid is 23 and 11 with 2 blocks and energy to play in the playoffs. getting back to the Sixers, that would be the ideal situation. Let Joel Embiid go out. He got the MVP last year. Let Joel Embiid go out and get defensive player of the year this year. Does any Sixers fan or any Joel Embiid fan not think he's got the capability to win defensive player of the year? He affects the paint more than I've seen from any center in ages. Problem is he's so committed on the offensive end and so used on the offensive end that he doesn't have the opportunity to really go 110% on defense every play. But when he's the fourth, he's the best fourth quarter defensive player in the league. We've seen him cover and lock down Giannis Antetokounmpo. We've seen him lock down Jason Tatum. They can guard any position. I love to see Joel Embiid go out and focus on defense and win Defensive Player of the Year to follow up his MVP. Has that ever been done before in the NBA? Statistician, Google for me. Has any MVP followed up his MVP campaign with a Defensive Player of the Year award? Be really interesting to see that one. I'd be curious if that's ever happened before. But I would love to see it from him. You snuck in a little baseball. It's okay. It's okay to sneak in a little baseball. It's playoffs. It's red October, hence the red on the screen. Although on this side screen, it looks orange. I don't know. Did I get the color wrong? On this screen, it looks red. On that screen, it looks orange. I don't know. It's red October, baby. It is. I can't help myself talking a little bit of baseball. It's 9:00 in the morning here, trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the share button. It's free to do it. Drop your comments. We're talking Eagles, Rams. We're talking NFL football. We're talking Sixers and James Harden and Joel Embiid. We're talking Phillies and Red October. Whatever you want, drop your thoughts, your predictions for the Phillies, your predictions for the Sixers, your predictions for Eagles, Rams. We're going to get to it all. We got 30 minutes left in this show today. Guys, I think Monday's show is going to have a lot because we're going to have to recap the Eagles. We're going to have to recap the Phillies Braves game 1. And I think we're going to be talking about James Harden traded on Monday, which means another 90 minutes. Look, honestly, till baseball ends, we might be doing 90-minute shows every single day on this show. I know if we could find some sponsors, if you know anybody that would like to have their company mentioned on this show, we could do commercials, we could do all different kinds of ad reads. Send me a message on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or on Facebook at Beard and Knowledge, and we could talk about advertising on this show. Get your face and your company and your brand in front of upwards of 4,000 people a month. And the more shows we do, the longer shows we do, the more sponsors we do, the more those views go up. How is Mike Schmidt looking? Grant, if you're watching, Mike Schmidt's still better than George Brett. Mike Schmidt, I don't know. Mike Schmidt's a terrible announcer. I will say that he calls the Sunday games at home when they're in Philly, and he's terrible in the broadcast booth. Mike Schmidt's the greatest third baseman. At the pizza shop, if you ever come in, you'll see right next to the TV a huge picture of Mike Schmidt. Growing up, I wanted nothing more, Eric, than to be Mike Schmidt. I was a terrible baseball player growing up. I was an okay basketball player, but I was a terrible baseball player. I didn't even try playing other sports because all I wanted to do was play baseball, and I sucked at it so bad. I could not hit a beach ball if you threw it at me. So bad. I could throw the ball a little bit, but man, so bad at baseball. But all I wanted to do, I wore number 20. I wanted to be Mike Schmidt growing up more than anything. More than that. I remember reading the Delaware County Times the day that he retired, after he retired. Because you didn't have the internet, you didn't have social media. So the only way you found out is if you watched the 10 o'clock news that night or if you read the paper the next morning. And I remember reading the paper the next morning when Mike Schmidt retired, after the start of the season. And I was so disappointed as a young kid. So disappointed. Phillies just need to split in Atlanta, come back to Philly 1-1, give the Braves a pitcher they're not used to seeing. Dude, I missed that. It's spot on. If they can keep, whether they win or lose game 1, they have to split in Atlanta. They do. Best of 5 series. You got to get one of the first 2 games. Even if I don't want to see them get blown out in game 1. If it can be close, even if it's a loss, but it's a close loss where you can say, yeah, we can hang with these guys. And then you go with Zach Wheeler in game 2 and he just dominates and you get that split, then you've got all the momentum coming back to Philly. Now, if Ranger Suarez goes out and wins game 1, I'm going to wholeheartedly come. This came up in what series was it? Was it the Boston series with the Sixers where we won game 1 and lost game 2? And I got crushed when I said on this show that we blew it right there. And I got crushed for saying that because when you take game 1 on the road, you just expect the split. But when you take game 1 in a certain fashion, losing game 2 is not acceptable. You let your foot off a little bit. So if Ranger comes out and pitches dominant in game one and we win game one, I'd wholeheartedly expect this team to come back here up 2-0. And if Zach Wheeler lost game two, I'd be disappointed, even though we were 1-1 in the series. I'd go with Ranger. Walker's velocity has dropped. Walker has struggled, but you also got to consider Walker's confidence going into next year and the year after that as well. You go with Taijuan Walker as the starter, and you tell Ranger, be ready. Taijuan Walker's going to have a very short leash, maybe a 3-inning leash. And then you go with a piggyback Ranger and Taijuan Walker in game one. I don't know. That would be my go-to. I'd go with Sanchez before Walker. So I would go with Walker and then bring in Ranger early if you're not going to go Ranger. Christopher Sanchez, he's had some nice moments. I'm not sure if he's ready for playoff moments yet. I'm just not sure. But I would go, even if it's Ranger that you go with, Chris Sanchez would be then the guy that I'd be like, be ready, because you're going to have a short leash with Ranger Suarez as well. All three of these guys have all struggled down the stretch. So none of them give you a great deal of confidence. Phil got ups. I don't got ups. But I've been 6'2" since I was in high school. You know what I mean? So most 6'2" high school kids are bigger than most. So, I could dominate at the glass, That was my first baseball card, Mike Schmidt. It might have been my first. I don't know. But, man, Mike Schmidt was everything to me growing up, Eric. We're going to the World Series, bro. Dude, I said it. My prediction was we were either going to lose to the Marlins or we're going to win the World Series. Well, we beat the Marlins, so we better win the damn World Series now. As a fan, casual fan, pitch clock helps. Yeah, I mean, it does speed the games up for sure. It does. And it definitely helps come playoff time. I love the 6 o'clock game on Saturday. Way better than the 8 o'clock game. 3 games, more exciting. Yeah, absolutely. Walker Ranger, I'm getting Chuck Norris vibes. Sure. Walker, Texas Ranger. Dude, that was like, it's on replay on like random channels all the time. But dude, when I was a kid, I thought Walker, Texas Ranger was a kick-ass show. Now I watch it back. 1, it's cheesy as hell. And 2, I don't remember the religious undertones so frequently in so many episodes. But when you watch it in replay, every show's got some kind of religious vibe to it. It's really weird. Like, I never realized it before. Living in Alabama now, I got to hear all the Braves comments. Braves GM was quoted, the team he fears the most is the Phillies. Now, there's a lot of people coming out of Atlanta. The GM, we saw Spencer Strider talking about it. There's a lot of, nobody across baseball wants to play the Phillies. None. Nobody. I got the Phillies winning the series. I think they lose game 1. I think they win game 2 on Monday. I would say my best guess scenario, Phillies in 4. We lose game 1, and then we take care of business the rest of the way. That's my prediction on the series. They lose game 1. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game 1. I'm going to go with something like 7-5 Phillies lose on Saturday. They're going to get Ranger Suarez is going to get roughed up. The Phillies offense will come back, but it won't be enough to come back because I think they get roughed up early on in the game. That's just my prediction. Take it with a grain of salt. Let's get back to the Eagles, though, guys. Again, still, we're at 9:03 on my clock there. So we got 27 minutes left in the show. Keep those likes coming in. Keep those comments coming in. Olajuwon won the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP in the same season. Jordan won the Defensive Player of the Year award and the following season MVP. Interesting information. Thank you, Kyle. I greatly appreciate it. Statistician, always chiming in. I'm going to get the statistician live on the show with me one day. We're going to work that out. I got to hear Kyle's voice on the air here. But winning Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP in the same season, that's clutch. I mean, there's a reason why Olajuwon's probably one of, if not the best center of all, well, one of the best. We won't say one of the best. One of the best. We'll just leave it at that. 100% agree with you, Phil. Phillies in 4. That's the way I see it, John. Phillies in 4. This team is scary good. Losing game 1 won't deflate them whatsoever. It just won't happen. 5 players have won both awards, but never MVP and then Defensive Player. So you're saying there's a chance for the first time. I'd love to see players have won both, never that order. So I want to see Joel Embiid win the Defensive Player of the Year award this year. That would be my dream. That would be my go-to. And if Joel Embiid wins Defensive Player of the Year award, let me tell you something. This is going to be a 2 or 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, man. It's just going to be the way it is. But back to the Eagles. Let's transition back to the Eagles. Let's get some final thoughts on the Eagles. We still got to go through the entire NFL schedule of games for this week as well. and make my random predictions. I don't even track. I don't even know why. I just like to touch on every single game and give my thoughts. But this Eagles game, what do we got? Conan O'Brien show had Walker Texas Ranger Lever. I wasn't a big Conan O'Brien fan. Man, chatter. I know a lot of people love the Conan show. What was it on TBS or whatever? Um, it was funny. Maybe I didn't watch it consistently enough to really like it. I was never a fan, like a major fan of late night TV. Like, I just don't, the sports takes up too much time to pay attention to late night. But I never found, I might be the only one saying this, but I never found Conan super funny. I just didn't. Um, it's a niche humor. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is. My style of humor, Mad Chatter, is not conducive to late night talk show or TV in general. Um, I like super offensive humor. I need my humor, to be like right now. I watch nonstop Matt Rife videos. I mean, it's as offensive as possible, but I laugh my ass off. That's the kind of humor that like Family Guy, American Dad, Adult Swim, like dark, dirty humor. That's what I need. And Conan and late night TV just doesn't provide that to me. He's very childish. Maybe I could see that for sure. Mike Schmidt retired in '89. Yeah, I was 8 years old that summer. It broke my heart. As an 8 year old, breaking my heart. I didn't start watching the Phillies in '93. Fatality made me start following the Phillies. Yeah, I was 13 or 12 during the '93. I was 8 when Michael Schmidt retired. It was the first time an athlete that I cared about retired, that I remember, and yeah, it broke my heart. That '93 team was special for sure. We need to treat the Rams like they're the 49ers. We absolutely do, Eric. It's a great way to segue back to Eagles talk, without a shadow of a doubt. The late night guys stink now. Letterman was good. I was a Letterman fan over Leno, but even that I didn't really pay close attention to. I love watching reruns of Johnny Carson. Comes on about 10 o'clock at night on one of those like 400 channels, weird channels, Cozy TV or Me TV or whatever. And I'll watch that over anything else. All right, so let's go with these predictions here. Let's get everybody watching. We got about 20 people watching right now. Get the like button and get your Eagles predictions. John's saying Eagles D shows up. We win. Big Birds 31-17 over the Rams. Now I've got 31 written down here as one of the options for me, John. I don't have 17 written down though, as one of the options. I think it's a much closer. That's a 14-point win. That's a 2-touchdown win. It's gonna be very hard for me to comprehend a 14-point win because, like I said, in LA, Rams are a good team. Like I said, they beat Seattle in Seattle. That's not easy to do. They beat the Colts last week. I could see this being a much closer game. Carson watching through for the first time. Johnny Carson's great, man. Genius. One of the best. Braves were good in the regular season, but how these boys respond from a Stott or Harper 2-run home run will be interesting. And I bet you there'll be Phillies fans in attendance for that Brave series, Marshawn, in Atlanta. I bet you. I mean, with the fact that you can fly to Atlanta and catch a game for under $300. Seriously, if I didn't have a pizza shop, if this was all I did for a living, if I was getting $500 super chats occasionally, or getting paid from sponsors or a little bit more from PSN, man, I'd be hopping a plane. I'd be going down there to watch the game. I'd be doing a show from out in front of the stadium in Atlanta. Phil, how are the Rams D against the run? Well, they've got Aaron Donald, so they're pretty good. I didn't look at every stat from every game. I was focused in on the passing attack because that's where we struggle. So I know what they do. But they held Geno Smith in check. Brock Purdy beat them because Brock Purdy beats everybody. They held the Bengals in check, but everybody does. Even though they lost that game, giving up 19 points to Joe Burrow-led offense, that's a good defensive effort. You just look at the overall scores: 13, 19, 23, and 23. That's got to average to less than 20 points a game that the Rams defense. The Rams defense, yeah, I mean, what's that? 46 and 32, 46, 40. I got to do some math here. 46, 32. That's 78 points. They're giving up under 20 points a game, the Rams defense. Just think about that. And everybody's going to predict 31, 30, this, that. Same thing happened against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense does not give up a lot of points. We scored 25 points in that game, 2 points on a safety. So we scored 23 points as an offense in that game. Everybody assumed that the Eagles were going to put up 30-plus points against the Buccaneers. But we didn't look past the fact that that Buccaneers defense doesn't give up those kind of points. real quick race through the other NFL games. Would appreciate your scores. We're gonna do that in a few moments here, for sure, as we always do. Eagles 34-30. And I see the closeness, and I like the closeness, but I'm having trouble coming to grips with the Eagles scoring 30 points this week. The live stream, you'll get a lot more eyes on you. I keep saying I'm going to do a live stream, and then something comes up every time. It does. At some point, I will do a live stream of an Eagles game. Now, it's a different Davon. Davon saying Eagles 28-17. Love this prediction. This is this is one of the things I always write down, Davon, bunch of predictions. That is one of the predictions I wrote down already. So I'm not picking that probably. I think I'm going to go a little closer, but I like that score, Davon, and I think that's a very possible strong outcome right there. It looks like my fantasy team will get their first loss this week. The guy I'm playing got 89.98 from Hilton Moore. Eric, dude, the rest of your team might not outscore that. I mean, that's insane. It must be good to have your two guys go off for those kind of points on Thursday Night Football, and you just chill the rest of the week. If we have a balanced offense, we will win big. I have a feeling. It's tough, man. The Rams are a strong team. They haven't been blown out yet. Their losses have been their two losses have been combined 10 points that they've lost by. So, and they don't win by big either, really, except for the Seattle. 34-31 from Marshawn. Again, the 30 points. They've given up 78 points. So you think everybody here giving all these 30 points plus for the Eagles, you think the Rams are going to give up half or more than half of the points they've given up all year long through 4 weeks in 1 week to the Eagles? The 49ers, they gave up 30 to the 49ers. 49ers have a great offense. That's their max. The Seattle's a great offense. They gave up 13 points to Seattle. Just think about that for a second. Yeah, it won't be that high a score. 10 super chats. You do a shot of vodka. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe though. Our defense will give up yards and points. Yes, exactly. All right, so I'm going to give you my prediction. I write down 4 scores. I have 5 scores. The 28-17 was one of them. I have 33-27, 31-21 written down, but I've zoned in on 2 scores, and I haven't picked which one. I got 27-21 Eagles win written down and 28-24 Eagles win written down. And I think I'm going to stick with what my initial prediction was. The first score I wrote down was 27-21 Eagles, which covers the spread, fits in with that. They don't give up a lot of points, the Rams. Fits in with us giving up a few touchdowns because of the passing attack, but within reach. 27-21. Eagles win. But don't be shocked if we get our first loss, guys. This Rams team is no pushover. Traveling to LA is not easy. Don't be shocked. 38-21. Nothing that the Rams have done this year make sense that that's going to be, unless you're saying Rams win 38-21. Nothing that the Rams have done this year make me think that the Eagles could score 38 points against the Rams. 4 scored, and 7 games ago, our forefather Eagles played the Chiefs. Nice. I'll give you some credit for that. All right, keep the predictions coming in. Let's start jumping through some of these games. We got the London game, 9:30, Jaguars versus the Bills. Jags won last week in London. Bills got the big win against the Dolphins last week. Buffalo is 5.5-point favorites. I need a new sheet because I do try to write down what I predict here. I do this on the fly here. I don't have these predictions pre-done up. I will go Bills cover. Bills minus 5.5. I'll win that game. Jaguars, I don't know who the Jaguars are. I don't. No clue. And this week will continue that question mark this week. I think we all overrated the Bills or the Jaguars this year. Rams don't have a strong running game, so maybe losing Cox won't hurt us that bad. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Dolphins, yeah, I don't even know why we're talking Dolphins. We haven't even said the Dolphins yet. So I got Bills covering. We got Texans in Atlanta. Atlanta's 1.5-point favorites. Texans are playing great football, and I'm going to say the Texans not only cover the 1.5, but win outright. Texans are playing good football. The Rams suck. Texans are playing good football. The Falcons suck. Desmond Ridder sucks. They're wasting Kyle Pitts. They're going to waste Bijan Robinson. So that's that. Next 1:00 game, Panthers in Detroit. Detroit is a 10-point favorite. I am going to say the Lions win. I don't know if they'll cover. 10 points is a lot. I'll just say win, not cover, because I don't know if they could win by 10 or more, but I'll take the Lions over the Panthers for sure. We got Colts home against the Titans, a bunch of 2-2 teams. Titans are 2.5-point favorites, and I think the Titans cover. Titans are not getting enough respect for how well they're playing this year. Everybody wrote the Titans off. Everyone thought the Colts would be rebuilding. The Titans defense is good. Derrick Henry's still playing really well. I'm going Titans cover that game there. Eagles will get this win, but it will be tense and a lot of nervous energy. I mean, that's how I see it going. I see it being a tight game and a lot of stress on our nerves. My new blood pressure medicine is going to be working overtime on Sunday. Eagles' first huge challenge, my power rank 2 or 3 Dolphins. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. That's next week, right? The Dolphins, Lions win big. It's still hard to say that or not, but yeah, the Lions definitely win. I think Dolphins might give us our first loss. We're gonna find out. It's not gonna take long until we face those Dolphins. All right, next game: Giants on the road against the Dolphins. Dolphins are 12-point favorites. Dolphins cover that 12 points. Giants stink. Giants might. I didn't think Brian Dabble had any chance of being on the hot seat, but they're playing bad. A lot of turmoil in New York. They would be stupid to fire Brian Dabble, but man, they got to do something at quarterback, or they're going to just fall off the face of the planet. The Giants, but Dolphins win that easily. Saints on the road against the 1-3 Patriots. Patriots, even though they're 1-3 against the 2-2 Saints, are favored by a point. Um, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Patriots actually win that game. Um, Saints aren't as good as 2-2 as they think. The Patriots defense is good. Mac Jones sucks, but that'll be a low scoring game. The over under is only 39.5. Might even want to hit the under on that. It's going to be like a 17-14, 14-13 type game. Messy game there. Then we got Ravens at Steelers. Ravens are 4-point favorites on the road. Close division game. I'm going to say Ravens win, but don't cover. I see it being a 2 or 3-point game, a sloppy, hard foot division game. That's what always happens. Easy win for Miami. Yeah, I mean, covering 12 points is nothing against that Giants team. They're not going to put up 70 again. I would be shocked if Miami goes and throws 50, a 50 burger on the New York Giants. I just wouldn't be surprised. Dabble walked over with the pad to Jones. Look, still can't get over $160 million to Daniel Jones. Insanity. Insanity in New York. So, yeah, I got Ravens. Close game against the Steelers. Then we already gave my Eagles prediction. I say 27-21. Eagles beat the Rams. Still a 4-point game. Next 4 o'clock game. Bengals in Arizona for the Cardinals. Can the Bengals get off their snide against Arizona? Man, this is probably the toughest game to predict because Joe Burrow has stunk all year. The Cardinals have played better than thought. Been in a couple close games. They beat the Cowboys. Um, Something special there, though. Joe Burrow's practiced all week. It's not an upset because they're favored by 3 points. But Bengals win double digits over Arizona. It's the first week that he's practiced fully all year. He didn't even practice in camp all year. First week he practiced all year. Bengals smoke the Cardinals on Sunday and get back on track. Dolphins win 31-14 over the Giants. Yeah, I can see that. I can see 50-14. He then looked at Jones and said, "Forget it." Threw pad to the ground and in disgust and walk away. I mean, we all would. Burrow are to wake up. Burrow's going to wake up this week without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, against Arizona. Then we got Jets against the Broncos. 2 bad teams that thought they were going to be better. The Broncos at home are the favored by 2.5. Jets win outright. Um, and then I don't know what happens after that. Maybe Sean Payton gets fired. I don't know. Maybe Russell Wilson should get traded to the Jets. I've never said this before, but Russell Wilson to the Jets makes so much sense right now because he stinks. I mean, he's playing like crap, but the Broncos are just a train wreck. Jets get their win with Zach Wilson, and then don't trade for a quarterback. Then we got Chiefs, Vikings. Chiefs on the road, 3.5-point favorites. Chiefs win. Um, yeah, I don't see a problem there. Vikings are not very good, even at home this year. Something's off there, even though they got talent. How they won double-digit games and where they won their division last year, I have no idea because it's basically the same team, and they won their division last year, and they're going to fall to 1-4 to start this season. It's kind of insane. That Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones money guarantee. I mean, dude, Kyler Murray, man, I've been harsh on him. He's not going to be in Philly or in Arizona next year. I don't know where he's going to play next year, but it's not going to be in Arizona. They might trade him this year. Phil, you're 6-2, like Fitzpatrick. That's crazy. Like I am 6'2". Yes, I am 6'2". I'm actually probably closer to 6:30 if I stand up straight. But I got a bad back. I never stand up straight. Sunday night football again. Cowboys, always on prime time. They're going to San Fran to face the 4-0 49ers. 49ers are 4-point favorites. Man, it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say the 49ers win this, but don't cover. I think it's going to be a close game. Um, I could see the Cowboys winning this game. It's going to be. I would take the Cowboys +4 is what I would do. We'll get in this Monday Night Football on Monday. We'll predict that game, the Packers-Raiders game that is going to be terrible. We'll predict that on Monday. But that's what I got. I mean, it's a shorter week. We got our first set of buys this week, so that's fun. But yes, let's get back to the Eagles here. Going to be a close. Final thoughts from everybody on Eagles-Rams. I think it's going to be a big Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter game. I think it's going to be a big game from Milton Williams as well. We are going to get sacks. Again, we're not going to get – we keep hoping for an Eagles 9-sack game. It's just not going to happen. We haven't yet this year, but if we can get 4 or 5 sacks on Matthew Stafford, that works. We need to create turnovers. He's obviously thrown 5 interceptions this year. It's cliche to say you got to win the turnover battle, but you got to win the time of possession, but you do. And if you create some turnovers, win the time of possession, continue to run the game. Second in the league, the Eagles offense in rushing yards per game, 5th in total yards. I mean, got to keep doing it. I don't need Jalen Hurts throwing 300 yards a game. He might. He could. The Rams defense isn't bad, but it's not great. You got to stop Aaron Donald. Like I said, it comes down to 2 things this game for me. Not the cliche keys of the game. It comes down to stopping Aaron Donald, and it comes down to Matthew Stafford not having time to throw quick passes to Puka and Cooper. Puka. Is it Puka? Puka? Nakua? You guys make fun of my name pronunciations all the time. No one's questioned my Puka Natua. And is it Tutu Atwell? I don't even know. Nobody's questioned the way I pronounce those names yet. I had an idea. I thought 5'9". Look, no. I'm no 5'9". I'm 6'2", 230 now. Put on some extra LB since vacation, man. Got to work on that. Definitely got to work on that. When 49ers play a good team, I mean, they're playing the Cowboys. Look, I still say it. I mean, I know I crush them every single week for losing to the Cardinals. The Cowboys are still a damn good football team. They were the second best team before the season, in my mind. They're the third best team in the conference in the NFC. I still have them ahead of Detroit. I do. Losing the 49ers won't change that either. I mean, they could go to 3-2 and lose the 49ers this week, and I'll still probably keep them in my top 10 of my power rankings. Maybe at 10, but I still will. Commanders stink. The Commanders and the Giants are awful. The NFC East is already down to the Eagles and the 49ers. That's why winning this week for the Eagles is so crucial. If the Cowboys can lose to the 49ers and we can beat the Rams, we will have a full 2-game cushion already in week 5 in the division. I don't think people realize that, like how big of a deal that is. I got to write that down. That's a good tweet. Division lead. That's it's a big deal. Is all well in Chicago? They're going to tell you it is because they put up great flashy numbers last week against the Broncos, but lost a close game. They're going to tell you they learned how to win, with that loss there. And then they're going to come out and say then they followed that up by beating a really great Washington team who was 2-2. When in reality, Washington's not good. When in reality, I thought they were going to be losing Ron Rivera by this point. Paddleboat Ron is done. If we can beat the Rams, geez, we got this. Dude, I love the confidence, guys. I do. But, and I'm confident that we'll win. I would probably say from 1 to 100, 88, 90, somewhere in that range that we win. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy game. It doesn't mean that it's going to be this simple thing here. Like, it's going to be close, in my opinion, without a doubt. A very, very close, hard-fought victory. That's just the way I see it. But you got to stop Aaron Donald. And you can't let Matthew Stafford throw for 300-plus yards and pick our defense apart. With our soft coverage, there's going to be room for Cooper Kupp, Puka. I love that name, Puka Nakua. I love it. Just rolls off the tongue really well. I love it. But if Matthew Stafford does not get pressured, he's just going to sit there. Sean McVay knows how to run the type of offense that distracts the Eagles that we struggle against. Now, I don't think that Sean McVay's ever played a defense with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in the middle starting. So that's going to be huge. Jalen Carter is going to have 2 sacks. That's my prediction. And Jordan Davis is going to have. You're going to get 3 sacks combined. We'll say that 3 sacks combined between Jordan Davis and Fletcher Cox. I'm just writing that down as a prediction right there. And that's going to be the thing that wins us the game right there. A big sack late in the game from one of our defensive tackles to end a final push from the Rams. That's going to be the way the game goes. I knew the Bears would win when I found out Dick Buck. Yeah, that was a shame. I found out about that late last night. Yeah, also, rest in peace to Dick Butkus. Bears legend right there for sure. Honestly, doesn't sound like you are confident. This may be no. It's just a real. It's not confidence or lack of confidence. It's realism. Realizing, look, I predicted before the season started that the Rams were going to be better than last year. They might not win their division or make the playoffs, but they were going to be better. The only reason why they weren't going to, win their division or make the playoffs is because there's 2 teams in their division better than them in the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers, and they beat Seattle. Seattle's a playoff team last year. Seattle's a playoff team this year. They beat Seattle in week 1 in Seattle. So it's just me understanding and being realistic that it's a good team in Seattle or the Rams. They're not a great team, but they're a mid team. They're better than Washington. They're better than the Giants. So it's just going to be a close game. And when you got these close games, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. It's just being realistic and expectations set to a level that, if I sit here and predict 35-11 and we lose 28-27 on a last-second field goal, I'm going to be really heartbroken. If I predict 27-21 and it happens, I'll be like, all right, well, at least I was realistically expecting a close game. Ball didn't bounce our way. Why did we lose? Let's break it down. That's just the way I see it going. It's not that I'm not confident or not. I'm just realist. What's up, K1? You're late to the show, man. We're wrapping it up here. We're in the final four. Final four. Right here. NFL is weird. 1 week Washington gives us everything we could handle, and then craps the bet against the Bears. That's why it's so special that the Eagles are. Everyone says the Eagles aren't one of the 2 best teams. Yes, homerish, putting them number 1 in my power rankings. I get that, but they're 1 or 2. There's a reason why there's only 2 undefeated teams through 4 weeks. So hard to win in the NFL week to week. Oh my God! Literally got home from neck surgery to be here. Well, shout out to you for your neck surgery, man. That sucks. Neck surgery sounds not pleasant. Hopefully you recover. Go back and rewatch the show. It'll get you relaxed, and whatnot, And we did talk a little Phillies, so you probably will tune out for a few minutes of the show anyway. Hopefully you have a nice recovery this weekend, and you do well, man. That's a shame. I would not want neck surgery. I always have neck problems, back problems, but man, that does not sound. But yeah, exactly, man. Try to get better, K1. Dedication to the core 12. All right, I know, man. Chatters always went for he wants a Discord, but maybe I'm going to start a Slack channel for the core 12. Well, for everybody, but the core 12. I have Slack app on my phone. It's just like Discord, but Slack. And I'll start a Slack channel so we can have a Trending in the AM Slack channel where we can all chit chat throughout the day and the weekends and the days I skip shows. Glad everything went well. K1 shows up like aye, even when banged up. That's right. That's right. What's your deal, K1? Get it together. Heal up. Yeah, get it together. Stop being a slacker. You should have, like that guy, canceled shoulder surgery. What did he cancel shoulder surgery for? Like an Eagles game or an Eagles practice or something like that? He was interviewed. He was all over the media. You should have canceled your neck surgery or scheduled it around the show so you didn't miss the show. Just shows how amateur you are. You don't deserve in the core 12. Right, I'll start a Slack channel for the Mad Chatter and for everybody else. Since I've already got that up and I don't really want to download Discord and have something else going on my phone at all times, what I'll do is I'll start a Slack channel this weekend and I'll put it in the bio of this show so that you guys can click on it and join it. Ayo, AI, like Iverson. That's right. Practice. Who needs practice? Most overrated saying. All right, guys. I got Eagles winning 27-21 over the Rams on Sunday. I got the Phillies losing game 1, close, like 7-5, but winning the series in 4. I got James Harden traded before we go live on Monday morning at 8 a.m. They are my predictions from this show. Off topic, but is Cox out Sunday? Yes, he's been already ruled out. Cam Jurgens has been ruled out. and so has Marlon Tupelodu. Why I could say that name, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm pretty close. I don't know. But yes, all three of those guys have already been ruled out for Sunday. So it means you're just going to get a lot of a lot of Jalen Carter, a lot of Jordan Davis, a lot of Milton Williams, and you may see Mojo Ojomo or whatever get active for the first time. One of those standouts in training camp. He might not play, but he should. Yes, Cox is out. Yeah, look, it's almost good because he's played too much this year. He's been playing 70+% of snaps this year. You got to give him a rest anyway. I had off from work today. Got up and took my kids to school. It was cool. Hey, that's good. I wish I had today off. I really do. I can't give a Phillies prediction until I see the pitching matchup. That's fair, Kyle. That's fair. I'm going off of just whatever I know right now. There is no pitching matchups for any games listed yet. Good stuff. All right, time to wrap this show up. Got to get to work, guys. Everybody have a great day. Shout out to Keith. Shout out to Adam for the super chats today. I greatly appreciate it. Muchas gracias. This is Trending the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Follow me on all platforms at Beard and Knowledge, not just on Twitter. And I'll get that Slack channel started this weekend for everybody for next week, and we'll have a great time. But everybody enjoy. Eagles win. Phillies win in the series. James Harden will be gone. Monday morning, let's see. Monday morning, let's see how much of this I got right. I can't wait till Monday morning to see how much I got wrong. Final comment. Peace out. A-Town down. That's right. I love it. I love it. Always good for an A-Town down. Everybody have a great weekend. Everybody enjoy some Eagles football and some sports this weekend. We'll see you on Monday. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I'm Phil Stiefel. Hit that like button. We only got 15 likes on YouTube. That's disappointing, guys. Got to get those likes up, guys. Likes, shares are free. Y'all have a great weekend. Go Birds. Ring that bell. It's Red October, baby.